So this is a review of the Swag Off-Road version 3 Portaband saw table. When I looked at this online and I purchased it, I purchased it with the understanding that the miter gauge slot would be parallel to the blade, and that is not the case. When you install this on a Milwaukee type band, you can see the blade is skewed to the right. When you install it on a DeWalt brand, the blade is going to be skewed to the left. Well, when you put this on the actual table, let me do that real quick. When you put that on the actual table, you can see that the miter slot is not parallel with the blade. So you take a blade, let's see if I can zoom in here, that is offset like that, and you try to use that miter slot, and it's a little misleading on Swag Off-Road's website and their videos, because they offer an Incrajig miter gauge, and people who know that an Incrajig is precise. So they offer this. You can buy it from their website in a package, as well as the foot pedal, or you can just buy the table by itself. But people that know, they know that the Incrajig miter gauge is precise, and if it's precise, they would think that the miter slot would be somewhat even close to parallel to the blade, but as you can see, it's not. So it's a little bit of a false representation, I believe, on Swag Off-Road's website and their videos on their website, offering an Incrajig with this table, when there's no way that you're going to be able to use that. I called them and they said, well, you know, if you use the miter slot, you're going to still have to move the workpiece around. And I said, well, that defeats the entire purpose of having a miter slot and using a miter gauge, because it should be somewhat precise. You shouldn't have to move the piece around. And also another thing that bothered me about this saw, let's see if I can get this. You take this little red knob and you screw it in. When you screw it in all the way, it protrudes past the top. So now even if you wanted to cut a piece freehand, which is the only way you're going to be able to do it because you can't use a miter slot with that offset, you're going to be running into this little thing right here with your piece. So that bothered me. I talked to them today on Swag Off-Road, and they said that there's, I can send it back to them, and I told them that they need to change their website and stop misleading people by offering an Incrajig and a miter slot on a bandsaw that you're never going to use this. If I were you, I'd just get the version 1 or the version 2 and freehand it, because these miter slots are worthless. And I'm disappointed in Swag Off-Road in even representing these as something that can be used, because there's no way you can use this miter slot with an Incra gauge or even a regular miter gauge with that much offset in that blade. You're going to bind the blade up so much, you can't do it. So disappointed in that. We'll see how it goes.